Hi everyone, my name is Diana and I want to begin talking to you guys about Ecuador's constitution. So what I'm going to do is a series of videos trying to analyze Ecuador's 2008 constitution that was approved by a referendum of the people. And I want to share how Ecuador's legal system works, the way I have known it to work. I'm a law student here in Cuenca, Ecuador, and thus I thought it interesting to somehow share how certain principles apply and work here within a Roman-based legal system, which is Ecuador. So without further ado, today I just want to talk about why the Constitution in itself is important to the country and how it has changed dramatically how the structure of government and how just society works in large. First of all, I think it's important for all of us to remember that Ecuador became a republic and became independent from Spanish control in 1830, in September of 1830. And since then, it has had 20 constitutions up until 1998, which was its latest constitution before the 2008 constitution, which is the 21st constitution Ecuador has seen. And so the things that I want to talk to you about today is why a constitution matters, and specifically why it matters in Ecuador. I think the Constitution matters here for two important reasons, and the first of those reasons is because it detonates a change in structure and in society that has not been seen in very long time. Looking back at our history, we've had not so stable governments, and so life and the judicial system and how it worked was never secure in the way that law or regulation or could be in place today, but in a month it could be easily overturned. And so there was no judicial security or guarantees for regular people, for individuals. So this constitution, this specific constitution in 2008, flips that idea and pretty much says throughout its whole content, throughout its 444 articles, that no, the law is in place to protect, and thus a very ancient concept, but nevertheless recently put in place here in Ecuador, due process and the protection of the due process clause within our constitution, and the procedures that it need to be taken in order for any court case to proceed, or due process or anything, any legal sanctions to be put in place. These rules or regulations need to be followed thoroughly and be watched closely as they're being followed. I think that's the first reason why this constitution matters so much right now to our legal system. And the second thing, I think it establishes the ideals that Ecuador as a nation and has at this moment. It sets a clear path for governments within cities and sectors and regions, and it gives them a very clear way to follow and to follow through with the policies this government has put in place. Let's not forget that this constitution also is put in place. It was pushed and promoted by Correa and his government, and Correa has been a very prominent figure here for us, and we can we can say that he has then the movement itself, this revolution as he calls it, of the citizens. And so that is very important. He just won re-election this week, as I am making this video, and he won it with overwhelmingly support of the people. More than 60% of the population voted yes for him. There were six presidential candidates, and he got 60% of the votes alone. And so that says a lot about a person's backing of the general population. In Ecuador, it's not a right. The right to vote, it's not really a right, it's an obligation. And so it's a legal obligation that citizens actually have, and if you don't vote, you get fined. But anyway, so here citizens, so we do have a high percentage voter turnout, and so you can see the will of the people, if you may, through this voting process. Nobody has tried to claim it's otherwise. All the candidates have accepted it as they well performed throughout, electoral process, and so there has not been issues that have risen up because of that. But with that in mind, this constitution, when it was put before the people of Ecuador, was very, very, very new in the content that it had, for those two main reasons. It gave jurisdictional security to people in regards to the laws that would be applicable to each person. I know that seems like a concept that should have been there already, but Ecuador, we've had many laws, but our history again and again has demonstrated laws really are not effective unless the executive power executes them and makes them effective. And it's something Correa has done, whether lots of people agree with his way of running the country at this moment or not. He really has brought that scrutiny from the executive power over the judicial branch, in where it has made the judicial branch follow through with all these norms, and with this new constitution has made all branches of government pretty much respect certain basic rights it provides for the individual. So with that, I think this constitution really does matter. I hope it stays in place. I hope he does not try to change it, though there are a few parts, as we see throughout the videos, that might need a little bit of change, just because this constitution does give the executive a little too much of the power for one individual to have in what we call a democratic state. Or so with that, another thing to add is that this constitution, which will be breaking it down in all of its parts in different videos, also establishes the country as a republic, a central republic that has a goal, and its ultimate goal is sumac causai, which is it's in native tongue, it means buen vivir, which is Spanish, which translated, I don't know if there's a word for this term, but translated, the literal translation would be good living. And we'll talk about what that concept is, and there's been a lot of debate about what it really means and what are roles of government, how should government be structured. That's what a constitution needs to contemplate. That's what, when you write a constitution, those that participated in writing this piece, these 444 articles, have to think about. And so we'll analyze through the content of the constitution itself what were the mindsets, with the thoughts behind the norms that were put in place in the end. I think one last thing to 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 point out before we finish this is uh, we have to throughout we have to remember always that Ecuador has never seen a stability like these past 60 years. So Correa has been in power for 60 years, and he has won re-elections. That means 4 more years. But in regards to legality of things, we've never had such a security, a legal security, if you may, within any process in the past at least 20 years. And that is due to the fact that, like I said before, there was never a true enforcement of the norm, but rather a pursuit of the desires of those of the groups, of the power groups and their interests. And so what we need to do is take that into consideration, and how this constitution is not just the general principles that will guide the country, but it also has procedures, and we need to consider that too. Whether should a constitution contain also the procedures to ensure that the rights that it contemplates are protected. And now I know lots of people will disagree that a constitution should not have procedures within, that should be left to secondary norms. But as we'll see again, because it's the highest norm of the land, here in Ecuador, it has played a key role, the fact that certain procedures have actually worked within our judicial system, and have been used in favor of those of the sectors that we have had in previous years completely been forgotten by society: the poor, the powerless, those without influence or connections. And so these not all procedures, of course, not all civil procedures, not all legal procedures are in the Constitution, but certain procedures for basic rights that the Constitution provides individuals and collectives. So that is another thing to keep in place as we talk about what it contains. Next video, what I want to hit on is the rights. What type of rights this Constitution contemplates, and who have these rights, who is perceived to be a subject of right. Only the person, or as Citizens United in the state establishes businesses, companies, corporations, and we'll talk about how Ecuador sees it, and whether or not we see corporations as people too or not, and up to what level of responsibility they could be held accountable to. So look for that in the next video, and I hope I can be of some help for those that have any interest in comparative law, or just want to know a little bit more about other types of legal systems. And if you have any questions, please let me know. If there are any subjects that you would like me to hit on specifically, I will try to do that to the best of my ability. But again, I'm a law student still, so there's a lot of things I don't know, and mine, my first language was Spanish, so if I do make mistakes throughout my speech, I ask for forgiveness in advance. So thank you guys for watching this, and I hope it helps you, and see you next time. Bye.